Hey you guys, I'm Venus Monique from the hit crime drama Vindication, and you guys should definitely make sure you're catching the Maurice Brown Show on Roku TV.
Yeah! What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Maurice Brown Show. We have a very special guest today, an actor who made his feature film debut in the faith-based film Courageous as TJ. His career reached new heights with his breakout performance as Tony Jordan in the hit film War Room, which soared to #1 at the box office. He would later land a nomination for Best Actor for his lead role in God's Compass, along with Karen Abercrombie, followed by a Best Actor win for his supporting role in Unbridled. You can also see him in his latest effort, My Brother's Keeper, directed by Ty Mans. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, please welcome the very talented T.C. Stallings. What's up, T.C.? How are you, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, man, it is an honor and privilege to have you on the show, my friend. I tell you what, you are one of the best guys going in Christendom in film right now. There's no doubt about that, and nothing but greater things to come. I certainly believe that. We're stuck in this pandemic. It looked like we're about to get out of it, TC, and then all of a sudden we kind of etched back into it a little bit. What has it been like for you as far as on set and just dealing with all of this as an actor?
I mean, obviously, I'm a bit more sensitive to it. I mean, just for a lot of reasons. First of all, like I said, a lot of people have died from it, including my mother. So for me, it's an extra sensitivity to it. I was already kind of a germaphobe in the first place, so a lot of the things that we find ourselves doing right now, a lot of hand washing and not touching bathroom doorknobs and all those. I was already doing those kinds of things, but I mean, this is obviously on a whole other level with everybody wearing masks and all those things. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just I'm very sensitive to it. I'll probably remain that way. Just being careful. But I'm thankful for the opportunity that we could at least get back on set with the proper precautions and parameters around the whole thing, so that everybody can be safe, which is just now starting to recently happen. So I know you have to be careful, but at the same time, I hope we continue to just fight it and then go back in the other direction, because it felt great just to get back to work.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And my mother had it wasn't diagnosed at the time. It was at the onset of the pandemic. No one really knew what this was, but I'm convinced that she did have it, and I almost lost her. My brother and I, along with my wife, really did everything we could do to be proactive enough to get her through that. And by the grace of God, through Jesus Christ, we were able to get through that. But it was very, very scary. My condolences to you, TC, for that experience with your mom. I know she's in a better place. I know she's with the Lord. I believe that. God bless you, brother. My prayers go out to you and your family. This has been a tough time. The pandemic has definitely been a tough time. Like I said, just when we thought we were getting out of this thing, it looks like some more issues have come up and shown its ugly head. So just got to keep praying and trusting the Lord.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, I was, like you said, you get optimistic once the numbers start to go down. Everybody's kind of getting back to work. Even before more of the masks were coming off, and you're like, okay, we're gonna kind of get through it. And you start hearing about variants and all these other different things. And I just keep telling myself, none of this is surprising God. It might be surprising us, but it isn't surprising God. So I'm just leaning on Him for His plan through it all, and for me to play whatever role or part that I'm supposed to play within this whole thing, and just keep giving Him glory and keep trusting Him, because, like I said, it's not a shock to Him what's going on. So
that's right. That's right.
Walk behind Him.
That's right. He's in control, and He knows exactly what He's doing, TC. So we just have to trust Him through it. There's no doubt about that. Let me talk about your transition, TC. A lot of people may or may not know that you were on your way to the NFL years ago, had a great experience as a football player, and all of a sudden you got into acting. How was that? How did that transition come about from future NFL star to actor on the big screen?
Well, the NFL was certainly my dream. So as far as on my way, at least that's where I was headed in my mind because I started from the bottom in the lowest level of the Arena Football League, and I went
Yeah,
from just started working my way up. I got to the CFL, I got to the pro leagues in Europe, and I'm putting up these astronomical numbers. And like I said, the NFL journey started when I was like 12 years old, and so I'm like, okay, I just won a Super Bowl championship overseas. I'm coming back and I'm going to the NFL.
yeah,
And so the signs pointed to that, and all I had to do was get into some of these workouts and show out. And me and my agent was excited with that goal, and I went and saw Fireproof. And this is a quick version of it, but that movie inspired me so much to the point where I was like, man, I'm not going to be playing forever. So I think I know what I want to do when I'm done, though.
yeah,
It's this acting thing, and this is coming from a guy with no lessons, no classes, no experience, not one acting credit to my name. But I just felt this pull towards it, and I prayed. I said, Lord, is this just me being the prisoner of the moment, or is this what you want me to do? And so
yeah.
just show me. And I asked my wife, I said, man, did you see who made this film? And we looked at the credits, and it said the Kendrick brothers. And I said, well, they're making the type of film I think I want to do, because I want to keep it clean, well, I got to start praying about working with the Kendrick brothers. And a year and a half later, so that's what happened. So the Lord spoke loudly, and I got my first role with Courageous with the Kendrick brothers. And last 11 years, that's what I've been doing.
What an amazing story, and I mean, it was clearly of God that's what He wanted you to do because of the immediate success that you've had. I had a chance to run into you about a month ago, and I told you, I said, I really believe guys like you and Cameron Arnett are like the Denzel Washingtons in Christendom when it comes to film. I mean, you guys are just tremendous actors. And listen, TC, I got to tell you, I mean, going from that story right there, I mean, you're such a natural as an actor on screen. It's amazing.
It's funny because for me, you grow up watching, like Denzel and some of the others, and it's just pure entertainment. I never had it in my mind to be an actor, be in Hollywood, be in a big screen. None of that. My whole thing was about going to the NFL.
Yeah.
I always talk about how God can shift your passions once you get to a point to where you're just like, Lord, if this is not going to be what I'm doing with my life, just shut it down and only open the doors to what you want me to do. And that's the thing that I prayed. And man, those are prayers that He answered immediately because life is about doing God's will. And you're in that moment every day. And so it's like that's just one of those prayers. He doesn't seem to even take time to answer because each and every day there's no time to waste when it comes to doing God's will. So it's like immediately the whole football thing started to just close, the desire started to spill away, and then He fills you with this new desire. And I'm just like, okay, now you're afraid. I actually was afraid to do it because you start to Google and you look at what it takes to be an actor, and they say, oh, you got to have an agent, you got to have classes, you got to have years of training, and go to this school, and go to New York, and go to that. And here I am, just a guy running a fitness studio in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm like, I don't get any of that. And so I started getting afraid. But the Lord's like, I'm praying that the Lord's just putting in my heart that if I called you to do something, I'll equip you to do it. And so, that's everything that I've become has come from trusting the Lord in the beginning, and then all my experience has actually just come from doing it. I mean, I'm 30 credits in, and you just get better with time.
Yes.
But I've never had like these classes and things like that until I was probably about maybe, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, 15, films into it. You start being humble and sharpening some skills and things, but up until that point, I had none of the things that they say you do. All that was God.
Yeah. It's all God. I mean, your story brings out the fact that, it was all God. When one sees you on screen, like I said, you're a natural. You're just gifted naturally to act in such a way that one would assume you've been through a lot of schooling. You've been doing it for years and that type of thing. But it's it's just right there, man. I mean,
that's what it is. It's just. I'm at a point now, and this is how I'm able to help other actors. I got a program where I help actors and stuff just trying to get started.
Yeah.
Going through so much, it's like now I've been able to see what works and what doesn't work. Because not everything that I've done has been like my best work. My best just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. Earlier in my career, you overreach, you overact. Years later, you learn that hey, just because you got cast as a doctor, don't mean you got to change the way you talk. There's no
Yeah.
that doctors talk. There's TC, who is now the doctor.
Right.
If I change my profession today, I'm gonna say, come here so I can take the tonsils out, because that's how TC talk. I'm not
Yes.
gonna say, hey, I'm doctor, So it's just the naturalism. That's not even a word. I don't think. I just invented the word naturalism. The naturalisms that you see is just stuff that from over time. It's just I've seen what works and what doesn't work, and I try to actually act without acting. I don't want you to know I'm acting. I just want to just be, and it's been working well for me.
Well, the proof's in the pudding, TC. I mean, it is a God-ordained action that you perform as an actor and use that as a vehicle to get the word of Christ out to a lost and dying world, which is why we do what we do. And as I say that, it leads me into my next question, because as Christians, acting can be tricky. And determining what kind of role that you're going to undertake, what kind of film that you're going to allow yourself to be in. How do you make those determinations, TC?
Well, for me, it's a very simple prayer and acknowledgement. First of all, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I mean, that's in Scripture. And I think that my roles is just to simply say, if Jesus walked in on set, could I keep doing it? If Jesus did that audition, would I say what's on this paper? And if the answer is no, then I'm not doing it. Simply because God sees it all. And so I have an agent and I have a manager, but I treat everything like God is the overseer of even them. God is the manager of all of it, and He would have to sign off on my work. So it's really straightforward with me. Is that when you place God in a room with you, with your auditions or your negotiations or whatever you consider it, and you ask yourself, like, is this okay? He has to say yes. And if he's not going to say yes, then what makes you think you can do it? And so, the discernment of that isn't really that hard for me. It's like if you read this thing, if you're reading Scripture, and you know what God stands for, what He does, and you know what you would do if He was right there. So it's not even that hard for me. I think the hard part is getting excited about a role and the opportunity that you want to take, and you have to say no. I'd be lying if I said that was always easy, but I always think about the bigger picture, where Jesus said, you did not be before me, I was not even before the Father. If you honor me before me, I honor you before the Father. So that's my way of honoring Him with all that I do. And that's always my decision-making process, man. If Jesus could be there with me, and I can do it, great. If not, and that goes for whether it's secular or mainstream. I don't just do faith-based stuff. It's whatever it is. God will have to sign off on it. That's it.
That's 100% correct. And you got to be willing to just do your research and background on these films before you get involved in it. I had the chance to be in Love Different with Jen Gotson Chandler, directed by Anthony Hackett in 2016. Tommy Ford was in that film. But I tell you right now, that was such a God-centered film. I mean, and here I am acting with people that are like way over my head, but it was so much prayer involved. It's nothing like being on a set, TC, when everyone is all in with Christ. And it's not always the case. Sometimes God may call us to be a part of a film where that's not the case, and He wants you to be the difference maker. That can happen too. But you got to do your research for sure before you get involved with a film. Great advice. My wife and I had a chance to see you in God's Compass recently with Karen Abercrombie, which was an excellent film. What was it like working with Karen?
It's cool because it was the second time, so obviously we already had time together. The thing is in Workroom we have no scenes together, but we got a chance to spend a lot of time, and just seeing her and talking with her. But it's cool because when we got to God's Compass, in my mind, it's kind of like a continuation. Like if there was a Workroom 2, I would imagine that now Miss Claire is mentoring this couple, right?
Yeah.
He's like the mommy figure, you know. And so that's what it felt like for me and God Compass. It's just like now it's almost like Miss Claire's the mommy figure because she's playing my mother in the film, and so it felt like this was Tony Jordan now with his mom, and she's really in his life. So that's kind of the dynamic how it felt, you know, when we were shooting that. But it is always cool. We have a good time off set, and you know, off when we're not shooting our scenes, and we laugh and we talk about War Room and the success of that and how much fun that was. So yeah, it's always cool to catch up with her. And but yeah, that's fun for me. It's like Miss Claire is mentoring me now. She's my mother now. So that's what it was like.
She is tremendous. Karen Abercrombie is a terrific mentor for any actor in the business or actress. She is tremendous. You also recently did the film My Brother's Keeper, directed by Ty Mans, which was an excellent effort. And tell us a little bit, first of all, TC, how fans can see the film My Brother's Keeper.
Yeah, it's available now on DVD pretty much everywhere movies are sold, and then you can check it out on Amazon as well. So really excited about what people are saying about it. By far my toughest role to date. So glad for those of you that are enjoying it. Thanks for the kind words, and glad to hear it.
Hey, Skeeta, what's up, man? Yeah, TC's repping Vindication, man, season 11. I mean, 2.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, and we're definitely going to get into that a little bit later because that I love Vindication. But tell us a little bit though about My Brother's Keeper.
Yeah, man, you know this for sure was by far the toughest role of my career, simply because you're playing something that is just real in terms of the condition of a soldier with PTSD. We know that there are soldiers all across the world that are actually suffering from PTSD, that have actually been memorialized, and you get called to play this role. The last thing you want to do is overdo it or underdo it. That was one of the biggest concerns that I had. So I took a lot of research and just seeing what actually happens. You know, and everybody's PTSD case is different. So I didn't try to make sure I had the perfect portrayal. I just wanted to research some real ones. And then able to put together some actions and go off of what they told me they went through, and make sure I played it right. And then the soldier mentality, you know, it's they're very particular about the uniform and the way you stand and you talk and you act and you carry yourself. So just from the standpoint of just looking the part and being a part was hard enough. And then you deal with a condition that people really deal with PTSD. So this was by far the most challenging role I've ever had. So to see people say, hey man, you were believable, you pulled it off, that was very gratifying to me, because that's what meant the most to me, is being authentic.
You kind of answered one of the questions I was about to ask you, what was your most challenging role that you've ever undertaken? So I guess clearly it's your role in My Brother's Keeper. I had Ty Mans on the show about a month or two ago, about 3-4 months ago. But what was it like working with Ty Mans?
It was cool because we got a chance to be friends, and it's always cool when you know a person, you have some familiarity with them, because this was not my first time with Ty. And the fact that the conversation that we had leading up to it, where he was like, I wrote this with you in mind. Ty, this is basically loosely based off his dad. And so for him to sit there and just lay into me in terms of what his dad was like and everything, and we already were friends, and he's the type of, he's like a hands-off type of director to really let you put out what you developed. And he only does things that kind of, if you ever kind of get away from what he wants to communicate, if he wants a little more or a little less, but other than that, he just lets you run with the character. And so, honestly, it's a challenge when directors let you do that, because if they don't say anything, I mean, you're nailing it. But if they let you run, and you run in cricket, and they got to keep coming at you, it's like, I'll just handle the looseness that they gave you.
Yeah.
So Ty hardly ever said anything, which is a compliment to me, but it's my compliment to him for just letting me run. And so, man, I always have a good time working with Ty.
Now, we talked about how you got into acting, how you transitioned. It was definitely a God thing. And you've got quite a few outstanding efforts under your belt since you've been involved with acting. And as I said before, I think you're just going to do greater things going forward. What is the biggest thing, TC, that you have learned as an actor? Because it can be very, very challenging, as you accurately stated about, okay, how's the director going to manage you and how are you going to work through certain scenes? What's the biggest thing about acting since you've been involved with it that you have learned that's made you better?
Two things. When you, like for me, I was fortunate enough that when right off the bat, I was able to share the screen and the stage with some pretty well-known actors, with some A-listers. Earlier, if you can't bring yourself to understand that these are just people, I mean, they're very, very talented and it's awesome. But see, you've seen them on TV, and now I'm with them. I didn't start naming all these people, but if you go on my, IMDb and see all these people, I mean, if you're intimidated, if you are trying to be too impressive, if you don't know how to just be yourself, all of your portrayals are just going to be bad. They're going to be whack. They're going to be,
Yeah.
They're overreaching, and you're too stressed, and so from that standpoint of managing your nerves, whether it's audition or whether it's your stuff, from the actual film that you're doing, you have to have peace and trust your gifts and just relax. I mean, it's not something I hear people talk about a lot, but relaxation when you act or when you audition and just believe in what you prepare to do is so key. So, like, early in my career, I had just about as much nervousness as everybody else. But as I've gotten going, I walk into a set and I say, whether it's a no-name race, like we mentioned, Denzel Washington, you got to walk in and say, it's a human being, and I'm honored to be here. I pray for peace, and then I go. So being peaceful and relaxed and just we're all human beings is one thing that has helped me. I get more auditions that way. I get more opportunities that way, and I'm myself. So being authentic to that. The other thing that has helped me, tremendously is just realizing that it ain't that deep. Like it ain't that deep when it comes to acting in terms of, and this is not me dumbing down the art, because if that was the case, everybody would do it. Anyone who's acting is gifted, and you take classes and you put in the work and everything. But I think some people think that, like for me, I'm just going to speak from my experience. Rather than trying to act, I just want to be. I get a role when I'm a doctor or a lawyer or whatever I am. I just say, okay, TC has changed professions. How would I do it?
Yeah.
I do it. And it ain't that deep. I don't change the talk just because I'm a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. Now, if I'm playing a real person, which that's another conversation, but I got a role now where I'm actually playing a real person. Now you got to be exactly who that person is, and you do your studying and your research, and you got to become somebody.
Yeah.
But then just relaxing and just acting without acting.
Yeah.
My goal is for people that don't think I'm acting, but we're just having a conversation. So these are the type of things that have made me into someone that people can actually enjoy watching. You're not going to call me corny and cheesy and overacting and all these different things. You're going to say that, he kind of jumped into that role and really laid it out. And so those are like my biggest things is relaxing in relaxing in the more prominent situations, the big roles, just relaxing. And then just kind of just acting without acting and just letting the world, just being it. I mean, that has made me into an actor that I really enjoy it more. And I think I can do more with just about anything. And now it's hard for you to pigeonhole me in any kind of way because I know how to just be. And that's my favorite thing about acting, now, is just being.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I tell you, we need more quality visions in the faith-based world when it comes to producing films, which leads me to my next question. Do you think that secular audiences are becoming more interested in faith-based films?
I think a question like that is kind of broad to the point where, I would just say, if I was to ask myself, do I think there are people out there in the secular market that like it? Sure. But when we say as a whole, I I don't know how anyone would ever even know that or qualify that and say yes or no, because I just think I'll put it to you this way: there has always been people out in the secular market that have enjoyed them, and there will always be people who just never do. And I think the key for filmmakers is to quit trying to figure out who that is. Just make it film. You know, it's almost like any other profession, whether it's a clothing line, a hat designer, or a jewelry designer. Make what your goal is, your vision. What do you want your necklace to look like? And don't try to make it to where everybody likes your necklace. Just you make your necklace, and those who like it will buy it. Make your film the way God told you to make it, and whoever's supposed to be attracted to it will be attracted to it. Because if you keep trying to make it for everybody, it's never going to come out right. So, I just think there's people in the secular world that like faith-based, just like, I don't like all secular stuff. I don't like all faith-based stuff. I think everybody is just subjective, and, so there is no, it's crossing over or it's not, it's working for them or it's not. I just think to each his own, and we will never know how many individuals that is. So I wouldn't even concern myself about it as a creator or a filmmaker.
Yeah, I like that reference you made about the gold necklace, TC. I need to get one of those big fat gold crosses, dude, and like rock it like the OGs rock it. But anyway, hey, but TC, seriously, I want to ask you one more question though about faith-based films, and you may not have necessarily an answer per se or response per se to this one, but I'll throw it out anyway. Do you think that is there anything in your opinion that faith-based films could do to maybe improve its appeal to the secular world to the extent where they would want to come out and see the film, but yet, of course, you don't want to compromise who you are as a follower of Christ. But do you think there's any improvement that's needed in the faith-based world?
I never, and I'm glad I finally come to this. This question has been popping around for years, and here's the deal.
Okay.
I would say, never make the goal to cross over. And to the point where I'm actually tired of that term.
Okay.
Secular filmmakers are not trying to, they don't sit there and say, hey, how can we make this film appeal to Christians? And then they start working hard to make it appeal to us. How can we make this rated R film that's cussing all over the place? How can we get people who like clean films to come see it? Man, they don't do that. They just make the film that they want to make, and they do it with the best quality possible, and then whoever wants to see that genre will go for it. And so that's where it's like, what I would tell, filmmakers, just like, and this is filmmaking across the board, it doesn't matter what genre you're in, put out the best possible entertaining product you can, because you have chosen the platform of entertainment. You chose the films. If you want to just preach a good message, then do a poem or do a sermon or write a book. Or when you choose a visually appealing, like when you choose something where you're supposed to entertain visually, where you're going to be held accountable for writing well, where you're going to be held accountable for playing characters and color and sound, and remember, you chose that. So I wouldn't worry about changing up the content. Just like I said, God didn't change the Bible and everything in it to appeal to the non-believer.
Oh, there it is. I love it. That's a great statement.
It is what it is. But what messes it up is how people carry it to that audience. You carry it the wrong way with bad sound, bad lighting. Then you just messed it up. But when you carry it the right way, you leave it up to others to decide how they feel about Scripture. And it's the same way, with the genre of faith-based film. Make the film you're supposed to make, but don't let your lighting, your sound, your acting, your whatever get in the way of whatever message is in it. And by the way, that's the other thing. If the faith-based film is the goal was to make it a message type of film,
Yeah.
And I think the way that you make sure it appeals to others is tell the message accurately. But if
Yes.
it's meant to be entertaining, then do a good job at entertaining. Because a lot of times I don't see people. Here's a statement that can help us move on. Whenever people criticize faith-based films, I hope all they talk about is that God ain't real, Jesus ain't real, that's fake. That right there should be the only criticism. Because that's
Okay.
just their belief. But when their criticism is about the acting, the lighting, that's where I think then you need to fix your stuff. So don't give them the outlet of crushing your production quality. Let them if they just crush the fact that you're talking about God is real, then the only thing you have is a fundamental disagreement about the fact that the film uplifted God that they don't believe in. But
Yeah.
I definitely don't think trying to make your project appeal to the world is making it unappealing to God.
Ah,
So
yes, sir.
you got to remember that if you're going to make that type of film. So don't be watering it down and I'm going to throw some cussing in it. I'm going to throw some nudity in it because it needs to appeal, to the world. Well,
Yeah.
that's not a God-led project. If you got to do all of that.
I totally agree with you. And as you say all of that, it leads me into my next question, because you are a part of season 2 of Vindication, which can be seen on PureFlix, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, TC, but I believe Amazon Prime. But as I say that, that is that has, I think, Vindication for me is my favorite faith-based project that's out there. I mean, from the get-go, because I think Jared O'Flaherty attacks subjects that a lot of faith-based filmmakers don't really want to get into, maybe because they don't know how to handle it or what have you. But Jared seems to be not only willing to get in there, but he does it the right way. Like, he doesn't cross any line of inappropriateness. But he talks about things that need to be talked about. He addressed subjects that need to be addressed. And we have to just get in there and do it from God's perspective. And that's what Jared O'Flaherty does in Vindication. And now we're into season 2, and you're a part of that. Cameron Arnett's a part of that. Candace Kirkpatrick, Gary Nation, a lot of other fine actors that have been added to the cast of Todd Terry, Venus Monique, Steve Mokate, and Peggy Schott, and so forth. What is it like, TC, working with Jared O'Flaherty?
It's fun, man. He almost reminds me a lot of like with Todd. Like, Todd's just a really, really laid back person.
Yeah.
Jared's, a little bit more, he laugh and joke and have fun.
Yeah.
But the same way in terms of if you can capture the character and you have a way of doing it, he's pretty hands off. He's not one of those guys that's just, nitpicky about every little thing. You have to make sure you capture, what he wants. And so if you do that well, everything's kind of cool. So I'm very impressed at how he goes after it as well. And I think him and the other writers, they have done a good job of addressing stuff in such a way where it makes the point. It doesn't have the goal of being controversial or anything, but it does make the point of showing that Christians do go through things, and here's how it can be handled. And so I'm very proud of the work that he's done and the cast that he assembled. And I like the way he runs the set, and then he's just is a pretty nice guy. Just period, just offset, just a regular person. So that's always fun when you can go to set and you like everybody who's there. That can be rare. And so I think it's putting together a good team of people where everybody kind of like each other and have fun with each other and respect each other. So he's done a good job putting together a great team. And like I said, I think Vindication was already awesome even without the additions. And so with the additions, we're just coming along to keep that train running, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Amen, amen. And as you say that, one of our viewers has a question for you, Dan Knutson. He wants to know, because Dan Knutson and Joel DeVisser are a part of a film called Game Changer that should be coming out close to the end of this year or the beginning of next. How do we get churches to get behind faith-based films, Dan Knutson asks?
Well, again, again, like Dan, I think when it comes to some of these questions we ask, thanks for the question by the way. I just think they're very very big and broad because we can't necessarily say that they're not behind it when I was blessed enough to be a part of the #1 film in America. The church did that. I mean, a lot of people. So I think a better question to ask is, who do you need to get behind the film you're trying to make?
Okay.
And that's what you should be asking the Lord. Because remember, the church is the people, it ain't buildings or whatever. And we wouldn't be able to make, my brother's keeper and war room and courageous and all those other different things that are out there that have seen success without no church support. So
Yeah.
to say that, how can we get behind them? Well, they are behind them. I think we're getting more into individual situations because, for example, I don't know, I'm just throwing it like, so when Alex and Steven, make a film, they don't usually have a whole lot of trouble getting it done. The Irwins make a film, they don't have a whole lot. Ty Mans makes a film, he doesn't have a whole lot. So, but then maybe there's someone another part, maybe it's you, Dan, maybe you're just like, man, they're not getting behind. So I think the question is, Lord, you ask the Lord, who do I need in my corner? And show me who can help me get this film off the ground. And then as far as people watching it and all of that, I always say, Lord, whoever's supposed to see it, make sure they see it. And then we go from there. So I know a lot of people kind of really get caught up in that question. I'm a purpose person, so I always feel like whoever the Lord's supposed to have in my corner to help me get something off the ground is going to happen. And whoever's supposed to see my work is going to see it. And I tend to not worry about that. I just control what I can control. And so I would tell Dan, I don't know if you're a filmmaker or not, but what can you control? Can you control getting it out there? Can you control what you show on your social media? Can you control that? Do all of that, and you for sure can control your prayers. So make sure you pray, and then let the other stuff just fall where it falls. So that would be my answer to that. I think the church is behind it, but who's specifically supposed to be behind what you do? Pray for the Lord to make that happen.
Yeah, Dan Knutson and Joel DeVisser again. Dan is a producer of the film Game Changer, along with my main man, Joel DeVisser, who also is the lead actor in that film. And, Joel DeVisser really has just, he has used every ounce of his own resources to make the film happen. It's going to be a fine film, too. It's going to be a quality film, but he's not really benefiting monetarily from the film, and he doesn't care about that. He wants the word of Christ to get out, again, to a lost and dying world. And they've had a lot of struggles, Dan and Joel, in getting this film out there and up and running and so forth. And I guess what Dan is referring to is and of course, TC, you can't answer that question or solve the issues. Your answer is 100% correct. At the end of the day, we have to have faith and we have to trust God that He's going to lead us and guide us to where we're trying to get to.
But I will dive more specifically and just say, if that's the case, to get more specifically, I would say, part of the whole control what you can control is just make sure that it's out in front of as many people as it possibly can. You see some films.
Great question, Anthony.
At a lot of film festivals, some people have the ability, like on my website, I can do private screenings of a movie. So like with my documentary, 24 Counter, I go on my social media or my newsletter and just say, hey, my new film, photo documentary, first self-produced film, 24 Counter is done. I want you to exclusively be able to see it. Here's a code. Go to the website and you can watch it. And so, there's a couple thousand people on my newsletter, so that's how they see it.
Yeah.
So you just got to control what you can. Use that social media, use that,
Yeah.
Just control what you can, and sometimes things just blow up from there. But I think what we tend to do is get upset and get frustrated, and we slow down when we can't get this pop-off success. And I think that's, especially with the type of movies we make, I think that's one of Satan's best weapons, is to make you think you're not going to be good enough, or it's going to get big enough, or you're not going to get the funding, or we shut down. And I just say, look, control what you can control. If one person can see it, and you'll mess around, and that one person be somebody who can take it in front of a huge audience. You mess around and be showing it to the president of Sony and didn't even know it. Just pray and control.
Amen.
control, and then leave the rest of the Lord.
Amen. Praise the Lord. I love that, TC. I love that answer. Anthony Hackett, who directed and starred in the film Love Different, again, which I was blessed with the opportunity to be a part of in 2016, he has a question for you. He wants to know, who have you worked with that you thoroughly enjoy, TC, and who have you not yet worked with that you would love to?
That's a great question. At this point, this ain't the politically correct question either. It's the truth. You got to understand, I am a kid growing up wanting to play football. And when I'm watching NFL and want to get like Barry Sanders. And when I'm watching the Cosby Show and I see Keisha. I'm watching Blossom and I see Joe. I'm watching One-on-One and I see Robin. I'm watching Martin and I see Cole. I'm watching Sanford and Son and I see Lamont Sanford. And I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. I have shared the screen or the stage with all of those people. And I'm constantly going away about how everybody I was watching when I was a kid. Greg Allen Williams, I used to watch Coach. I got a chance to go with him and, being filmed with him. So for me, I get giddy and I just trip on how when I'm little watching all of these people, I never imagined or even thought about sharing the stage or screen with these people. And I've done that with almost everybody that I watched as a kid, and I've seen in other films. So for me, that has been the joy, to work with all of these different people, collectively, So that's like the true to heart answer for me. Now, who I want to work with, man, let me just tell you, there's a reason. I don't know if this one answers questions as far as a specific person, but there's a reason that I'm hitting the gym all the time and I'm staying in shape. It's because they gonna call me for a superhero role at some point, and I'm gonna be ready. Let me just tell you that. You know what I mean? So that's about. I don't. In my mind, I want to continue to work with anybody that is just extremely just great at what they do, because every time you do that, it makes you that much better. So anybody that we feel is at the super top of their game, I would love to share the screen with them. But I don't have any specific preferences in my mind or goals or anything like that. I have a goal for a role. And I can throw somebody's cape or mask. That's all
I'm going to have someone reach out to you, because that's one thing we should have more in faith-based films. Nathaniel Skexnader has created a film called Night Guard. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but they have a 30-minute short. It's a faith-based superhero film that's very well done. Gary Nation is a part of it, and Wayne Matichuk, and the lead role is played by Jonathan Wessel. And he's kind of like a Peter Parker character. But dude, you got to check it out. Watch the short, and I'm gonna put them in contact with you, because it's a superhero film, and it's fun, and it's centered around the Word of God. But the way they do it is it's very subtle and coy how they bring in the Word of God. But it's a straight up superhero film. I'm definitely gonna get you in contact with those guys. So that's a great project. Now, so. Yeah, man, you should.
Some of the people who are fans of mine are probably already running around now saying, Maurice must not be hit the God sent spiritual warrior. That's a conversation for another day, but we started a comic book series called God Sent Spiritual Warrior.
Okay.
And if those who look on, and this is like 3 years in the making now. If you go on IMDb and you see that project sitting there, God Sent Spiritual Warrior, that's our film that's based off the comic book. So let's just say that really cool faith-based superhero may happen sooner than you think. And,
man, I love it, dude. I love it. And I think. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay, I can't wait, man. I absolutely cannot wait. Dan Nuts, and Dan says our next film is going to be a family comedy superhero storyline. Okay, love it, Dan. I'm definitely going to be praying for you on that one. Going from the football field, TC, to acting, another question comes to mind for me. How did you deal with butterflies and nervousness before you came on to set to do your thing, even in auditioning? How do you deal with the nerves?
Well, at first, I didn't really have a method. I would just walk in and they would really, especially if it was something big. I was out in Hollywood for, as far as living there, 10 years, nearly 10 years. So I auditioned down in LA and Hollywood a lot. And there are certain things that get in your head that mess you up. Like when I'm walking on the Sony lots or the MGM lots or just whatever to do these auditions, and then you start to see people that you have watched in major shows. I walk into a room and there's Flex Alexander and just a bunch of other guys that up for the same role, and that they've been in the game for so long, and Hollywood knows them very well. I'm new, I'm fresh, and it's just like you already feel like they're gonna pick me over these guys and everybody knows. And so you start to whip yourself and beat yourself up, and you've already lost. And so for me, I got tired of that. And the scripture that I use all the time that just changed, it really changed everything for me, was Psalms 139:16. It says, "You saw me before I was born." Talking about God. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. That's key for me, every moment. So, this moment, when I'm at this audition, God's already seen it, He's already laid it out, and He laid it out purposefully. So, if He wants me to get this role, I'm getting it. If He don't want me to have it, ain't nothing I can do to change that. So, the decision has already been made by God, and it says He saw me before I was born. Moment by moment was laid out. So before I was even born, God got this thing laid out how He wants it. All I got to do is walk in that purpose, and can't nobody do a thing about it. So I started saying to myself, these people, this casting director who's making me nervous, this producer who's got my legs shaking right now, they aren't decision makers. They're passing along a message that God has already decided a long time ago. So I'm just getting ready to go in here to hear from them what God has already decided. And I just took the power away from them. They don't get to make decisions concerning my purpose because it was already made a long time ago before I was born. So
Amen.
They don't have the power. I see God as having the power and not them. So I go in there and relax. Like, I'm going in here to just get a message delivered, not a decision made. I'm getting a message delivered. You don't have the kind of control that should make me that nervous when God has already decided. So my goal, my job is to prepare and then walk in the room to find out what God has said. But I make sure that I go in there and do everything I can to make sure I didn't get in the way and mess things up for myself. But they don't have the power no more. So I don't have nerves, man. I really don't. And when I do get them, they're the fun kind that I say, don't try to make them go away. It's the excitement. It's like going to the Super Bowl. You're going to be nervous and fun. It's going to the Olympics, nervous and fun. But that nervous, scared stuff just gets in the way. And I'm like, man, ain't nobody here making no decisions. God's already made it. I ain't got no reason to be nervous. I'm prepared. I'm going here and handle my business and leave the rest of the Lord. And my nerves are few and far between these days, man.
I love it, dude. I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to have faith that God has got us, and then just go and leave all the nervousness and whatnot, because we think so many negative thoughts. But if you got to have faith, and as you say that, which was a great statement of faith that you just made, there are a lot of young people out there that are thinking about making acting their career, specifically or particularly in the Christian community. What kind of advice, TC, can you give young people that are out there right now that are seriously thinking about making this their career?
I'm going to give you the type of advice that, so many people in the world don't like, and even people that are Christians don't like. They want so much more. They want so much. They want this antidote. They want this touchable, actionable step that they can do. But I don't know how people frown at this advice that I'm going to keep giving until the day I die. You have to take that passion that's in your heart, and before you do anything else with it, you have to validate the calling. The worst thing you can do is act on something that's coming from your heart, but it wasn't from God's purpose. The
Yeah.
Bible tells you that the heart is deceitful above all things. Our heart, our emotions, our dreams, goals, and desires will lead us in the wrong places at times. That's why he says, die to yourself. So the first thing, you got to make sure that your self stuff is dead. So the way you keep doing that is you always take that desire and say, so for example, I would tell that young person to say, Lord, I have a desire to act, but is this me or is this you? If this is you, please open the doors and show me where I need to go and where I need to take this thing. If it is not you, shut the door closed, because there are things that are going to look good that they won't be God. They'll be good, but they won't be God. And so it's easy to tell the difference between something that's bad and good, but it's hard to tell the difference between something that's good and God. Because we know to run away from sin, but how? What's wrong with being an actor? The only thing wrong with being an actor and pursuing that is if God really wants you to do something else. So
Yes.
the first thing you got to do is qualify that calling and ask the Lord to shut the door if it's not Him, open it if it is, and then to give you the wisdom to know the difference. And when you start seeing things happen, and you pray that prayer, now you can go full steam ahead because you know God is signing off on that thing, and you keep praying along the way to make sure it's still Him. That is what I would tell any young person to do. And why do I say that? Because it goes back to the Psalms 139:16. If God purposed you to do it, it can't be stopped. That's the other thing. It's His purpose. And now you're going to get the equipment that you need. You're going to get the doors open that you need. You're going to have people helping you that they don't even know why they're helping you. In Hollywood, man, I have so many people that have my back. So many doors open for me. I got signed by agents and managers that will have other A-list talent. They probably look on that roster and like, you see all the names you recognize. Well, who is this T.C. Stallings do? What has he done to deserve to be here? It's part of my purpose. They had to sign me. You know what I mean?
Amen.
At the same time, when you out here and you doing it because you want to do it, now that ain't God helping you, man. That's Satan helping you because you get further and further away from your purpose, and he would gladly help you do that. So I would always tell them that you have to definitely qualify that calling and make sure God has called you to it. And then the rest, you are walking behind God. And at that point, you don't care where you're going. You just care who's going to lead you. And so that's what I would suggest.
So Anthony Hackett has a couple of questions for you. He says, which do you prefer, arm day or leg day? And also, can you name one movie you worked on that in some way changed you personally?
Sure. I prefer balance, man. As far as arm day, leg day, I don't actually like training my arms that much because it's like the easiest thing to do. But believe it or not, it's a prominent part of me or whatever that I train it the least. That I train my arms the least. And you can't be walking up here, waist up, and looking all great, and then you walking on these two little pencils, man. So
Right.
I have to have a balance, man. So I train each body part twice a week. So that's that part. As far as I forgot the other question.
The other question, TC, was name a movie that you worked on that in some way changed you personally.
I would have to say all the films have had an impact in some way or another, but War Room changed me personally, and it isn't because see, honestly, I gotta give a double. I know the answer was one, but Courageous and a War Room. Courageous because it was about fatherhood, and I was not connected to my dad. I didn't meet my dad until I was like 19 years old, and we hadn't necessarily reconciled. But being that Courageous was a movie about fatherhood and forgiveness, and I had yet to do that with my own dad, I felt compelled that before that movie came out, I needed to reach out to my dad and connect with him and get that straight, and I did that. So that was a significant change for me, and so that's when I was getting ready to say War Room because it was the culmination of the calling for me. I gave up everything to go to Hollywood. And I remember when we decided as a family if we were going to go, we had to really look at what God would be the only reason to go and give up everything that I owned in Louisville, Kentucky, to go to Hollywood, which was not on my list of goals or anything. But once we validated the calling through God, and we went, the goal was to make it to the top some way, but never compromising along the way. Not one.
Amen.
Not
Amen.
one time can you point and say that I had to do something that compromised my faith to be able to get, these type of awards and all the things that War Room did. Because I see so many people say, I want to thank God for this, but to get this, you had to get, nudity and cuss and do all the different things that are contrary to Scripture, but then you want to credit God for that. We're sinful. That's it.
Yeah.
Anything you want, and God accepts it, that's wrong. So War Room, when I woke up in the #1 movie in America, and everybody wanted to know my name that day, that week or whatever, I was able to go and do these interviews in Hollywood as an uncompromising actor, and it was a culmination of prayers along the way, because I prayed. This was 3 years in the making when this happened, because I went to Hollywood in 2012 and this happened in 2015. All throughout those 3 years, I had chances to compromise left and right in Hollywood, and I kept saying no, regardless of what the check might be or the notoriety. So to wake up one day and for that to happen, the ability to give God glory for helping me to stand up straight, not compromise, and still made it, it just crushed the whole myth that you have to soil yourself or put your faith on a shelf in Hollywood to make it in Hollywood. You don't have to. And from now on, nobody can say that. That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah.
So that was huge for me. And it was one of the biggest blessings, and something that I'll have for the rest of my life, just to be able to say, you don't have to compromise, to be successful, man. Whatever God wants you to do, He'll open up the doors for it in His time and in His way, and He'll make it where you can hold on to your testimony, and people won't be calling you a hypocrite, and you can keep doing what you really was put on this earth to do, which is make disciples.
Absolutely, absolutely. And TC, do you have any upcoming projects on the horizon that you could share with the viewers?
I do. So I'm a part of a television show so this is now my second lead role in a television show. It's called The Watchers, and they focus on angels that are watching out for us behind the scenes. I play a pastor in that
Oh, wow.
TV show, and you'll be hearing more about that, over time. But you can check it out. You can see the Watchers series on Instagram. You kind of check it out. The person who played Laser from Dodgeball,
Okay.
he's the lead angel. He plays the Archangel Michael in that.
All right.
So I'm cast in that. So I was excited about that. And then I have a lead role. This is one I alluded to earlier in a film called No Vacancy.
Okay.
And this one is this is a real person. I played a character named Cecil. He's a real person. And you'll hear more about this, but I'm excited because I get to research a real person who did something really cool with his life, turned his life around, became a pastor. He was on drugs at first, becomes a pastor, and is a part of an effort to turn a church into a homeless shelter in Florida. This is a true story, and I'm always a big fan of true stories. But this may become my new most challenging role because I have a real person that people know, and I believe I'm messing her name up. She played Einhorn in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. She's in it. I'm sorry, I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But she's in it. So again, I'm getting placed with other people in Hollywood, man, that you never would think of. Here I am with Detective Einhorn from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. But that's what's coming up, man. I'll be shooting that soon as well. So God continues to bless, and I'm just going to continue to keep being His actor in Hollywood and anywhere else, which was always my goal from the beginning. And I'm just excited about everything He's doing. I couldn't tell you how excited I've been about being part of Vindication, the Watchers.
Yeah.
I love it, and so I'm blown away. I'll keep doing this as long as He tells me to do it.
By the way, TC, when can fans expect the first episode of season 2 of Vindication?
September 1st.
Okay, awesome.
September 1st, 2021. You'll be able to see an episode each week. I'm so excited. I know people have been seeing me popping up on the posters and stuff, and I'm this new character, and nobody knows about Trey Millwood, who he is. You don't even know what episode I come in or anything. Could be the first, could be the last.
Yeah.
I look forward to you guys, and I hope y'all love Trey and his addition to what I think was an already phenomenal cast, storyline, production, and just another spoke in the wheel of Vindication.
TC, let me tell you something right now, brother. This season is going to absolutely blow up. I'm going to tell you that. And I told Jared this summer because, The Chosen is the thing right now. And I don't know if you've ever seen, I'm pretty sure you've seen The Chosen by Dallas Jenkins. Awesome program. I love The Chosen. And it's blowing up all over the place. But Vindication's kind of been off the grid for a minute. And it had a huge following. But, out of sight, out of mind, people just kind of, unintentionally forget. But let me tell you, when it gets back up and running and everybody's like, oh, Vindication's back, it is going to blow up. I'm telling you right now it is.
I hope you're right. That's the goal, man. That's the goal. And, I try not to worry about it too much. But, boy, you control what you can control. And I think that everybody on the Vindication team has done that. You got to put out a good product. You got to write good stories. You got to get good actors. You got to have great production quality. Talk about it as much as you can on social media. I think we could pick that up a little bit. I think we could pick that up a little bit. But Jared's cool. Jared's the type. He doesn't like to talk a lot about stuff and you're way too far out. He likes to get a little closer so that you're not talking about it for like 10 months and then people are just like, oh, I'm tired of hearing about it. See, he just started picking it up and now we're 30 days out. So I can respect that for sure. But yeah, I just, control what you can control. And I think we've done a good job of doing that. I think everybody has done an amazing job as far as the acting goes and the writing and the cast and the crew. And now it's here. And so, man, I'm looking forward to it. I saw one of your viewers put the name up, Sean Young. Yeah,
Sean Young, okay.
And I have never met her, so, I don't have the familiarity. So that's going to be another person that I can add as a blessing. I got a chance to meet Sean Young. And I actually believe they just cast Dean Cain as
oh, wow.
So yeah,
very good.
So far, those are the 3 lead roles: Dean Cain, Sean Young, and myself.
Hey Dan, if you're still watching, Dan, is that Sean Young from Blade Runner? I know that was back in the day.
Yes,
it may not be.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, awesome. I didn't know she was in Pet Detective. That's funny.
Oh man, she was Detective Ironhorn. She was the Ray Finkel. She was the kicker.
Oh man, that's funny. I didn't realize it.
That's where I first saw Sean Young, man. And I wasn't familiar with her name. I just was a fan of the movie, So, but yeah, again, man, you know how many years ago that was that I see that. You're not saying to yourself, one day I'm going to share the screen, and then so here I am. So I love acting is such a it's a small world, Some of the events that I've been at in Hollywood, I've run into so many people. Get a chance to meet, Jamie Foxx, Michael B. Jordan. I was invited to the Just Mercy premiere. Brie Larson, just all of them were all in one room. There's only 40 of us, and God bless, I was able to be there. That's where I got a chance to be with I was with Kobe Bryant. He put this on, and he passed away like 10 days later.
Wow.
But being in a room with all of these people, the acting has just made this whole thing so small for me, where it doesn't shock me, when I, wake up and find out that I'm going to be on set with a certain somebody. But the one thing I always try to do is, like I said, don't get too caught up in the moment and think, what's your purpose? And make sure you maximize that, even if it's just to make a new friend. You ain't got to go preaching to everybody, but literally just make a new friend and build that relationship. I thank God for all the relationships I got a chance to build in Hollywood. I'm here in North Texas now because now I'm trying to get on more of the production side of things, and I still have my agent and everything in LA, so I still can go out there to work, but I don't have to be there like I did earlier in my career. You kind of have to be there. Now I don't. I'm free to. I can do it wherever, and I'm excited. Look forward to seeing what God's going to do, and I'm just going to be obedient and follow Him. Again, I don't care where He's going. I just want to make sure He's leading, and I'm going to be right behind Him.
Well, let me know if God says, "Hey, TC, I need you to call Maurice Brown. I need you to call him." Hey, listen to him, TC. Hey, listen, how can fans follow you on, and I know you're involved with ClearPlay, how can fans follow you on social media?
Well, yeah, man, I will tell you, you want to follow me on social media because Maurice mentioned ClearPlay. If you're unfamiliar with ClearPlay, just look at ClearPlay streaming on Instagram, look at ClearPlay on Facebook. But ClearPlay is a service that takes films and helps make them more family friendly through tutoring. You can do that and ClearPlay. I'm with ClearPlay, doing everything I can to tell everybody about it. I may have been using it for years, but they filter content on HBO Max, Disney Plus, Netflix, and Amazon, and it's just so cool because, like I said, there's certain things that I would not even be able to watch if it wasn't for the ability to customize it with ClearPlay and enjoy it with so you never have a bad movie night. So I'm going to be giving away some free passes for that. And so follow me on social media. My social media on Instagram is Real TC Stallings, and it's TC Stallings on Twitter and TC Stallings on Facebook. And that's it. And my website is tcstallings.life, Life.
Okay. Skeeta Jenkins wants to know if you're still involved with PAX TV.
No, I am not. I am not. That is the direction that I believe that they were going in just didn't fit where I am at this point. So no, I'm not with PAX at this point. I'm actually focusing on Purpose Studios and Purpose Television and taking that. And I think that this is what the Lord wants me to do. It's not anybody else's organization. Purpose Studios and Team TC Productions is getting ready to not only produce and make our own films. I'm done being afraid to do that because, again, I'm reminded I didn't know what I was doing when I started acting. And look at me now. So I didn't know what I was doing for the production side, and I've already learned so much. I've got 4 scripts written. I know how to produce. I've made my own production with 24 Counter, which, thank you all, has got like 31 5 stars on Amazon now. So I know the game, I know the business, and now I have a lot more confidence to just not look to piggyback off of anything else. Purpose Studios and Team TC Productions is going to do our own thing, and we're going to make our own films. And for those of you who came into the business like me, and you want to keep it clean, you're finding opportunities few and far between. You should have a place where you don't have to look too far to do clean family entertainment, and you're going to find it with me because I'm working hard on it. I'm asking the Lord to open that door for me. And by the way, we hadn't mentioned it, but that's what Uncompromised Christian Actor Coaching is about. The program that I have, Uncompromised Christian Actor Coaching, which is the only Christian actor coach program out for actors. These are the people that I'm working with, and I work with them weekly, and I'm looking to get them in some stuff and cast stuff. So I'm just trying to make the road a lot easier to get going. And so those are all the things that I got going. You can go to my website and check all of this stuff out. But hey, I'm just trying. I know there are other TC stars out there, male and female, young and old, that just want to keep it clean and want to succeed and do it God's way. So I'm trying to create programs and films and things that will open that door for you. So just know, if you're out there and that's your prayer, Lord sent you my way, or and maybe that prayer I told you to ask the Lord to open the door. If I'm a part of that open door, I will find you. And you will find God will bring us together, and hopefully that creates some opportunities for you.
TC, I love your stand for Christ. It's very inspiring and refreshing. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking with actor T.C. Stallings on the Maurice Brown Show, and you know who he is. You can see him in War Room and Courageous, My Brother's Keeper, Unbridled, just to name a few. T.C. on the Maurice Brown Show, and program reminder, next week at 5 p.m., T.C., I think you may know this guy, Michael Jr. will be on the Maurice Brown Show, and he was also in War Room with TC, and you can also see him in Selfie Dad. That's 5 p.m. next Tuesday on the Maurice Brown Show. You can see that. Maggie, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the compliment. If you've been watching this and you think it was pretty cool, the interview was like that, like it and share it. And then subscribe to the Maurice Brown Comedy Channel and every social media engine that TC Stallings is a part of. And if you just came in and you're like, I don't believe I just missed it. Not really. Because tomorrow, about midday, you can see the entire replay on the Creative Motion Network on Roku TV. So you really didn't miss it. You're blessed all the way around. There it is. You gotta love it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, actor TC Stallings on the Maurice Brown Show. TC, thanks so much once again for being on, and may the peace of Christ be with you and your family, brother. God bless you.
Likewise, thank you, man. God bless you too.